Speaking of family, let's step inside. The interior of the 2026x7 is a real treat. Think luxury meets tech. You've got these massive, curved displays that give you both the instrument cluster and the infotainment system in one seamless flow. The seats are plush, supportive, and perfect for long drives, and the ambient lighting options let you set the mood just right. Even the rear cabin gets a lot of love. Plenty of space for adults, easy access to the optional third row, and all the comfort you'd expect from a flagship BMW. And for tech fans, the latest iDrive system is smoother, faster, and integrates with your smartphone like never before. Digital Key Plus means you can unlock and start your X7 without a physical key. Pretty futuristic, right? BMW isn't cheap, but then again, it's the X7, and it's not meant to be. The 2026 model starts at around $85,000 in the US, with higher trims, including the V8 M60, creeping upward. Considering the tech, performance, and sheer presence, it's a competitive package for anyone shopping in the ultra-luxury SUV segment. How does it compare to past X7 models? BMW has always nailed the balance between luxury and performance, but the 2026 X7 feels like a step into the future. It's sharper, cleaner, and more tech-forward than its predecessors. The hybrid engines bring efficiency without compromise, and the design tweaks give it a presence that's unmistakably BMW, but also fresh and modern. Longtime fans will notice the evolution, and newcomers will find it immediately appealing. Honestly, the 2026x7 is shaping up to be one of the most exciting luxury SUVs on the market. Whether you're drawn to its bold design, the tech-forward interior, the hybrid performance, or just the fact that it's a BMW SUV that can handle pretty much anything, there's a lot to love here. And for anyone thinking about upgrading from an older X7 or even a competitor in the luxury segment, this new model definitely demands a look. Imagine this for a moment. You walk into a showroom, and for a second you feel like you've stepped into the future. Lights reflecting off a clean white body, rugged edges softened just enough by modern styling, and a presence that instantly says, "I'm here to conquer." That's exactly the vibe the all-new 2026 Jeep Recon EV gives off, and today we're diving deep into everything that makes this SUV one of the most talked-about upcoming vehicles in the Jeep lineup. So grab a seat, because for the next little while we're taking a full tour of the Recon EV, inside, outside, and everywhere in between. Now, if you've followed Jeep for a while, you probably know how careful they've always been about stepping into the electric space. They didn't want to rush out just anything with a battery and call it a day. They wanted something that still honors what Jeep fans love: toughness, capability, and that iconic sense of adventure. And the Recon EV feels like their big, bold move, a 100% electric SUV built with the heart of a Wrangler but wrapped in something totally new. When you first look at it, the design instantly grabs your attention. It's bold but clean, muscular but modern, rugged yet very well polished. That classic Jeep grille is still there, but with a futuristic twist that makes it look like it's smiling with confidence. The LED lights give it a sharp, piercing stare, and the squared-out body panels bring back that old-school military vibe Jeep fans love. And even though it's fully electric, Jeep kept the signature off-road character alive. The stance is wide, the wheels are chunky, and there's just something about the shape that makes you feel like it belongs on a trail, not just a driveway. But what really makes the 2026 Jeep Recon EV interesting is that it doesn't try to pretend it's something it's not. It doesn't hide its electric nature, but it also doesn't forget the heritage behind the brand. This balance really shows when you start looking at what's under the skin. Even though it's fully electric, Jeep gives it the kind of capability you expect from their toughest models. It's built for real off-roading, not just mall crawling. We're talking removable doors, trail-rated engineering, and a power setup designed to get muddy, rocky, and everything in between. And speaking of power, let's talk performance. But don't worry, I'm keeping it simple and friendly. Jeep is bringing a hybrid mentality to the EV world. Not a hybrid engine in the traditional sense, but a hybrid approach to capability. Electric smoothness combined with rugged off-road personality. Jeep says the Recon EV will deliver serious horsepower and instant torque, the kind that makes you forget any hesitation about going electric. Electric motors don't build power, they just give it to you instantly. So when you tap the pedal, it responds right away. And whether you're climbing rocks or merging onto the highway, that instant push is something Jeep fans are going to appreciate. Jeep also claims the Recon will have strong range for everyday driving, but still optimized for adventure. And that's where it gets exciting. With the new battery tech they're using, Jeep wants this SUV to handle more than just commuting. They're aiming for something that can survive long trails, camping trips, and off-the-grid fun without constantly needing to find a charger. That's a big deal in the EV world. Now, something that really stood out to me is how the Recon EV brings back the spirit of the Wrangler while moving into the future. If you imagine a world where the Wrangler and a futuristic concept car had a baby, you get the Recon. It has the toughness of older Jeeps, but the refinement of something way more modern. And Jeep even said the Recon is meant to exist alongside the Wrangler, not replace it. That's smart because Wrangler fans are loyal and they want options, not replacements. But the interior? Wow, Jeep stepped it up. The inside of the 2026 Recon EV feels like a future Jeep cabin finally arrived. The dashboard is sleek, the screens are bigger and cleaner, and everything feels more intentional. Jeep understands that drivers today want tech, but don't want it to feel overwhelming. So the controls are easy, the layout is simple, and materials look much more refined than older models. It feels rugged, but with a layer of comfort that makes long trips much more enjoyable. The seats are supportive, the steering wheel has that classic Jeep thickness, and the cabin has this adventurous theme that still feels premium. And because it's electric, the cabin is naturally quieter. No rumbling gas motor, no vibration from the engine. It's calm, smooth, and surprisingly relaxing. But don't worry, Jeep didn't erase the personality. They're expected to include their iconic nature sounds or artificial motor tones for people who still want some noise while driving. One of the most interesting things about the Recon is who it's for. If you're someone who loves the Wrangler but wants something more modern, cleaner, and quieter, the Recon EV hits that sweet spot. If you like off-roading but want the latest tech, again, perfect match. And if you are waiting for an electric Jeep that doesn't feel like a science experiment, this is it. Pricing is something a lot of people are curious about. Jeep is expected to place the Recon EV in a competitive spot, somewhere that feels accessible enough to attract new EV buyers, but still premium enough to justify all the tech and capability it's bringing. Early estimates point to something starting in the mid-$60,000 range depending on trims and options. And honestly, with everything this vehicle packs in, that feels pretty fair in today's EV market. But how does it compare to past models? Well, it's definitely not a Wrangler competitor. It's more like a futuristic cousin. Compared to older Jeeps, the Recon EV brings a smoother ride, more advanced tech, and way quieter driving. But it still honors that adventurous Jeep DNA. Compared to something like the Cherokee or the Compass, the Recon EV feels like a completely different class. It's stronger, more modern, more stylish, and clearly designed for a new generation of Jeep buyers who love the brand but want something fresh. And imagine how this thing will feel out on the trail. Electric motors give you torque instantly, which means crawling over rocks or climbing hills becomes easier. Without an engine to worry about, the front design allows for better visibility and a cleaner shape. And because there's no exhaust system underneath, ground clearance can be optimized. Jeep is expected to push the Recon EV as a legit adventure machine, one that doesn't burn fuel while enjoying nature. And honestly, that's a cool idea. What I find exciting is how this vehicle will change the Jeep community. You're going to see EV owners joining off-road groups. You're going to see people who never considered a Jeep before suddenly becoming fans. And you're going to see Jeep showing the world that electric doesn't have to mean boring or limited. It can mean powerful, capable, and ready for fun. As we get closer to the official launch, I expect we'll see more details, more trims, accessories, and maybe even performance versions. But even with what we know now, the 2026 Jeep Recon EV feels like a major step forward for the brand. It's fresh, it's bold, and it's exactly what Jeep needed to stay competitive as the auto world shifts to electric. So if you're someone who loves the open road, the trails, or just a really good-looking SUV, keep your eyes on this one. The Recon EV is shaping up to be one of the most exciting Jeep releases in years. And when these start rolling through cities and climbing up mountains, I think people are going to realize just how big this shift really is. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button, drop a comment about what you think of the new electric direction Jeep is taking, and of course, subscribe for more car breakdowns, walkarounds, and future model predictions. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, stay curious, stay adventurous, and keep driving toward the future.